Hello there, my name is MooingCat and welcome back to another beta recap. It's been quite some time now, but for various reasons, including not a lot happening and me being busy with St. Patrick's Day stuff and so on, I haven't made one of these in a couple of weeks, but we are finally back and this time we do have quite a lot of interesting stuff to talk about. So in this video, I will first go through the changelogs real quick. Then I'll talk a lot about the anniversary event because we have a lot of changes here, both positive and negative. So I'll go through that, talk about the current state of the event, and then we'll go over some spoilers, including finally some new stuff from the Guild Expedition, some new stuff from the Wildlife event, Pirate/Summer event, and the University. What on earth is that? Well, all of that will come later on. If you want to skip ahead to a specific section, you can do so. But yeah, let me start by quickly going through the changelogs. The first one from 3 weeks ago now, not a lot happened that I care about, so I'll skip over that. Then, not this week, but last week's changelog, we did have one interesting here. The unit and special unit boxes in the anniversary event did not provide the item, but the reward directly. You now receive the item in your inventory to use whenever you want. So that's talking about these rewards here, these chests here, where you can get some units. These, when you get them in your inventory, you can use them when you want to get one of these units, 2 of them in this case. Now these chests here, they will provide you units of your age when you open them, which means that you're able to save them in your inventory and use them when you age up, or if you are in the latest age when the new age comes out. So not a big change, but a nice one. This now is added to your inventory instead of giving you the units directly, which means you can save them and use them later on, which is quite nice. And that's basically all from that week, because as you can see, not a lot of updates that week. Then this week, not a lot either that I really want to talk about, but 2 things. First of all, the grand prize progress in the anniversary event was not visually updated when merging 2 pieces. You still got the process, but it is now displayed correctly too. That's one issue that I definitely noticed in my first impressions video and also in my first live stream of the event. The progress wasn't updating and was quite annoying. You had to reload the minigame to actually see the progress. Not really that important, because you still got the point, but definitely something that is nice to see. And then also, the Hunter, the Stone Age production building, has been renamed to Hunter's Cabin. Not really important, but I thought that was kind of interesting, so I thought I should quickly mention it. But that's really all for the daily changelogs this week that I want to mention. As always, you will find all of these linked in the description if you want to go through them yourself. Now, what I really want to talk about this time is the anniversary event, because we have a lot of changes. So if you aren't familiar with the event, I would recommend either checking out my first impressions video or my 2 last streams. I played some games on both of those, a little bit after the 1 hour mark into both of those streams if you're interested, where I played through the minigame. And there you can see how it works. Well, since the release, we have had 2 or 2/3 major changes to the event that I would like to talk about. So, first change, February the 19th, so that's around 2 weeks ago. They first increased the keys in the daily challenges from 1 to 3. So from the daily challenges, actually I've collected it today, but one of the options here will give you some keys for the minigame. That has been increased from 1 to 3. And then they also increased the daily special chance in all the chests. And they increased it by quite a lot actually. But I'll talk about that in a moment. So the next day, February the 20th, there was yet another update, and this one was a really big update. And it improved a lot of things. It did have one negative, and that is that they reduced the grand prize progress from merging locked pieces. Level 1 and 2 remained unchanged, but level 3 and 4 pieces were changed from giving 4 and 8 progress to giving 3 and 4, sorry. So in the minigame, when you merge a free piece with a locked piece, you get some points progress for the grand prizes. Initially, that was 1 point for a level 1 piece, 2 points for a level 2 piece, 4 points for a level 3 piece, sorry, there we go, and 8 points for a level 4 piece. With this change here, that was nerfed to only giving 1, 2, 3, or 4 points. That's of course negative for us, but overall the event as it was originally, and after we kind of learned the minigame a little bit, experimented a little bit more, we quickly realized that it was, well, way too generous. You could basically get 2 main buildings for free if you played things correctly, which, no, that's a little bit too much based on their what they want to balance the event around. So the nerf here was quite natural. Now at the same time, they made a decent amount of buffs as well. They increased the grand prize progress you got from chests. So originally they gave between 1 and 13 points. They now gave between 2 and 18 progress, which was quite a big update, big change. So yeah, that was very nice. They also adjusted the daily special chances again, and they made it so that the bronze chests, or the ones that are worst for grand prize progress, is the best ones for daily specials, which I think makes sense. Now, this change here and also this daily special chance here made the amounts of daily specials you could get quite crazy. You could basically get like 50 daily specials during the event, which was, well, too much. I played halfway through the event, spent my keys, got 24 daily specials, so yeah, you could definitely get a lot of daily specials with this balancing here. At the same time, with this update, they also adjusted the board completion reward. So when you play the minigame here, if you're able to unlock all of these locked pieces, you can continue the board and you will get this board completion reward here, which is a chance of giving you one of these rewards here. That was also changed with this update here. Originally, it gave... Okay, so now with this update, it also gave keys for opening chests. Originally, it only gave these 2 selection kits here. I think it gave the instant finish all special building kit, and I think it gave some other kits here, like the one-up kit or renovation kit, store kit. I think it was those kind of rewards. You can check out in my original video, my first impressions video, what it was, but not that big of a deal. So that was changed. You can get some more keys from there as well, kind of to compensate for this nerf here. But with this change, the event was still really generous. You could still get a lot of progress, perhaps not 2 full grand prizes, but you could definitely get a few extra selection kits or upgrade kits for the main building beyond the first one. And as I mentioned, the amount of daily specials you could get was, well, it was way too high, like 50 daily specials. So the week after, earlier this week, they nerfed the event. And in my opinion, they overcorrected way too much with this change. So let's go through it. The first change is that they increased the requirements for keys in every chest. They increased the amount you needed by 3. So you now needed 3 times the amount of keys. So as you can see here, this is the current state of the event for the top chest here, where in the past you needed, for this example, you would have needed 2 wind keys, 1 fire key, and 3 water keys. It now requires 3 times that with 6 wind keys, 3 fire keys, and 9 water keys. So with this change, they basically, well, divide the number of grand prize progress and also daily specials by 3, which means that you can still get a decent amount of daily special. Nothing crazy, but a respectable amount, probably something like 15, 20 daily specials through the event, which is perfectly fine. But the biggest difference or biggest nerf is that they, well, lowered the amount of progress you could get from the grand prizes by 3. Now they did they did compensate slightly for that by adjusting the points you could get from the chests. They increased them to be between 2 and 23. So from between 2 and 18, it's now between 2 and 23. So that helps slightly, but it definitely does not make up for the, well, 3 times lower amount of progress you get from this nerf. Now, in addition to that nerf, they also nerfed the other way of getting progress from the grand prizes by a lot. So they reduced the grand prize progress from merging locked pieces, adjusting from 1, 2, 3, and 4 points to always 1 point. So right now, no matter what level this is, you always get 1 progress for the grand prizes. So basically they cut down this by, basically 3 to 4 times the amount of progress you could get from merging pieces in the board. So combining both of these, the amount of grand prize progress you can get right now, it's not a lot at all. And based on my testing, if you play well, you might end up somewhere around 3 to 3.2 around here in this region, and with a few extra ways of getting points, like opening the first chest every day, which gives twice the points, and also doing the daily challenges. If you combine all of those, you might be able to get to 3,750 points, which is what you need to get the main building fully leveled. But that is not guaranteed at all. You would have to play every day, you would have to play well every day, and I think that with the current balancing, a lot of people will be ending up in this region here, with 2 or 3, perhaps even 4 levels below what is required to get the main building fully leveled. I don't think the current balancing is good enough, and I really hope it is changed, because there are still a couple of days left, and we do have time between the event finishing and the live event, but that's where we stand right now. Alright, let's finish off these final points as well. The rewards from merging with a locked piece have also been reduced by around 40%, and that's talking about these rewards here. So the units, for example, supplies, you get some goods and so on. Those have been nerfed slightly, or by 40%. I'm not really that bothered about that. You could get a lot from these, a lot of units and so on, so I don't really mind that. I think that's fine. Now, to another thing they did to compensate for this is that they increased the keys you could get from daily challenges to 9, which actually, when you look at it, isn't really important, because the price went up by 3 times and the amount went up by 3 times. So they basically just corrected for the new price of the chest, so didn't really increase it, just made it the same as it was before, which was 3. So not really that big of a change. And when you start the event, you now have 2 fire keys instead of 1. That I believe is because of the tutorial, where you need to open the first chest. Now, because that has increased in price, you do need some extra fire keys to be able to open it in the tutorial. So yeah, not really that big of a deal. Now also, another thing they did was that I think they reverted, perhaps not to the original state, but they kind of reverted this board completion reward update here. They removed the keys you could get, so you could no longer get that, and replaced them with things like 1-up kit, renovation kit, and instant finish 1 special building. So that's what the reward is right now, if you're able to unlock all the pieces on the board, as you can see here. I don't really care too much about that. The keys you could get there would have helped a little bit, but realistically, you're not gonna be completing a lot of boards, so these changes there doesn't really matter. So I don't really care about that. That's fine. And that's the current state of the event. And yeah, as I mentioned, I don't think it is good enough right now. I think the balancing is way too tight. And with anything but perfect play, I don't think you will get anywhere close to getting a fully leveled building. So yeah, I hope they find a middle ground between this and what was admittedly too good of a result. I hope they find somewhere in the middle. And I do think the event needs that. I think it is similar to the St. Patrick's Day and Wildlife event, where because it is so complex, I wouldn't say the anniversary event is as complex as those 2 events, But it's similar, and because of that, they do need to balance it so that not only the most dedicated players, or not only those who are able and willing to spend a lot of time thinking about what's best and so on, they have to make it so that those are not the only people who get the main building fully leveled for free. They do need to add some buffer, buffer between that, and I think balancing, like right now, for example, in the St. Patrick's Day event is good. You could, if you wanted to, you could get like 15 upgrade kits, so 1.5 main building. But because of that, it allows a lot of different strategies, and a lot of people will be able to get the main building fully leveled. I think this event needs something similar, and I think the easiest way to probably go back slightly is to probably revert this change here, or this change, either of these, or adjust them down slightly. So instead of doing 3 times the amount, do 2 times the amount, for example. And here, instead of going all the way down to 1 for each, perhaps do 1, 1, 2, 2, for example. But yeah, they do need to buff things a little bit again, because right now it's not good enough, and they do need to find a middle ground. Alright, that's all I have to say on the anniversary event for now, so let's move on to spoilers. First of all, I want to talk a little bit about a change in the structure here on the forums. But you might not be interested, so you can skip ahead if you want, but Jupiter has made some changes here. In the past, we had 2 forums here. We had the archived spoilers, which were the previous, or things that had now been released. And then we had simply a spoiler section, which has now been renamed to spoiler discussion. And this is where we would post threads when we found new stuff in the game. But now, Jupiter has added an additional tab here called Spoilers, and here only a select number of players or the users are able to make posts at the moment, which right now is limited to Beelzebub, me, and Nova. And the idea here is that we make these posts, and then we always keep these posts up to date with all of the latest information. So, for example, the pirate event, whenever some new stuff is found, we update these posts, and that way when players just want to see what is new in the spoiler section, they can go to this forum here and can see what the latest stuff is. And then in these posts here, we'll link to the discussion threads, which is where everybody can post, because here only us 3 can post. And another thing that probably you don't care about, but something that we find quite nice, is that I can edit posts of the other 2 guys. So if Beelzebub makes a post, I can edit it as well. So it doesn't matter who makes the first post, everybody can update and keep everything up to date here. So that's just quickly just wanted to mention that. And you can find this linked in the description. And as you can see here, we have 4 things that I want to talk about in this video. So let's go through them one by one. First of all, the guild expedition. We finally have some new stuff here. Last time, you might remember that I talked about the city defense symbol here, impressive defender, and that is hinting that we need to use the city defense in the guild expedition level 5. Well, now we also have this here. This is a mockup that I made, and it's based on this piece of code here in the cache file, which is responsible for creating this pop-up. And this function here has been updated, where if the difficulty is lush, which is the code word for guild expedition level 5, it looks different than what it does in the other levels. So in the other levels, it will look something like this on the right side here, where you have the battle, attack, and then negotiation, negotiate. In guild expedition level 5, it will look something like this. Again, this is a mockup I made, but it'll look something like this. So the battle option here has been changed. It is now called defend, or the action is defend, and the symbol here has a shield, still a small sword, but a shield, instead of having the sword here and attack in the text. So again, hinting at the fact that this will have a different mechanic than the other levels. The negotiation pane stays the same, so that shouldn't be any different. Then we have defense. Here, it's called defense. You have this symbol, which for now seems to just be the placeholder that was used for the fortifications. Earlier on, when they were introduced, they were used the fortress, I believe it is, from Guild Battlegrounds as the placeholder. And the text here will say build. And this will most likely open a window where you can build the fortifications, which I've gone through in previous videos. But I guess just a quick recap, in Guild Expedition level 5, it seems like you will be able to build these fortifications in encounters, possibly all, or perhaps limited to certain encounters. But you can build these and they will most likely give some sort of either boost in or help you completing the encounter, or perhaps also help you getting some better rewards. Don't really know yet what all of these are, but yeah. So you can build these and they should help you with the encounter. So the way to do that is probably just to use this build or open this build thingy here, which might open something like this. This is a mock-up that Nova made a while back that I've shown, where you can build these fortifications, which will most likely use goods, your goods to build them. So yeah, that's quite interesting. Exactly how it will work, we don't know, of course. There's been some speculation that it might just be same as a regular attack, except that you use your city defense boosts instead of your offensive boosts. It might also perhaps be similar to the PvP arena or your city defense, where you select an army and this army will then auto-fight against the attacking army from the Guild Expedition. Another cool thing someone has mentioned would be to flip the map so that you start on the right side of the map and the enemy starts on the left side, and the enemy starts and you have to defend against that. Personally, I think that would be really cool if they implemented that, but who knows. And that would also add a slightly more challenge to the minigame or to the fight, because, going first can be an advantage most of the time. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that works, but regardless of how it works and how much city defense you might need to actually be able to get through it, you do still have the negotiation option. So if you're not able to fight your way or defend your way through, you probably should be able to negotiate your way through. So yeah, that shouldn't be too big of a deal. And that's all new stuff we have this time. I think it's quite a big one, but yeah, definitely interesting. Now, for when the Guild Expedition is released, we still don't know. I hope it isn't not too long, but we don't know. We haven't heard any indication that they are releasing it anytime soon, but would be surprised if it takes too much longer before it comes out. So yeah, expected that sometime in the future. Let's move on to the wildlife event. Here, I think I've gone through most of it, but I think I'll just do it once more, just so in case you haven't been watching my videos. So, for this event, we have 7 new buildings. We have the main building, the Panda, or we have a new chain building called the Panda Reserve. Not sure if the main building is called Panda Reserve or something different, but in any case, the Panda Reserve chain building main building is this one here. It is 4x5. It has 10 levels. And something quite interesting, as Nova discovered, the number of pandas in each level is the same as the level. So level 1, you have 1 panda. Level 2, you have 2 pandas, and so on. All the way to, well, in this image you can't see any pandas, but there is an animated image where you most likely will see pandas. So in this it'll probably be 10 pandas. Now below this you can chain some chain buildings. Here we have 3 different chain buildings, each with 2 variations. So it's not 6 buildings, it is 3. Of course, don't know what stats they will give or anything like that, but they will be chained below the building. For some time, there was some talk about perhaps being chained above, but it has not been confirmed, as we'll see in a moment, that they go below. In addition to those, we also have 2 standalone buildings, 2x2 buildings like these. Don't know anything about the stats they give, but should be interesting. And you might notice we have a red panda. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. Not really. But yeah, we have a red panda in it, which if you don't know, my avatar, both on YouTube, also here on the forum, slightly different, but that's a red panda, which, yeah, one of my favorite animals, quite like them. So yeah, that's quite nice, of course. And we also have this limited building here, which, to be honest, I don't really like the look of it too much. To me, it kind of reminds me of those old trophies you could get from events ages ago, and I've never really been a fan of it. But yeah, a 1x1 limited building. Don't know what it will give. So yeah, the name of the chain set is the Panda Reserve. Here is the icon for the set, which is quite nice. And here is an example of how it looks. And this is an official asset, so we know this is how it will look. You can change these buildings below the main building. And here we can see the pandas, so we know that they will appear in the final level. Here are some examples of how it will look in game. This is one that Nova made. So yeah, quite nice. We also have the kits now. They were blurred last time, I believe. So we have an upgrade for the main building. We have upgrade kits for the 2 standalone buildings. We have a selection kit for the main building and a selection kit for the chain buildings, which is this one here. And we also have the selection kit Epic, the Epic kit, which will include the rewards from the previous wildlife events. So the Mountain Reserve, the Animal Crossing, possibly the, what's it called, Insect Hotel? Wasn't that the wildlife event pass reward last year? Or I don't know. Yeah, you should get some previous event buildings from this. And of course, sadly, we do have the golden upgrade kit. So the final level of the main building here, level 10, most likely requires the golden kit to get to, which is a shame. It seems like that has that's gonna stay going forward. It's now 4 events in a row, including the pirate event, which I'll go over in a moment. So yeah, it is what it is. Alright, we have some lovely loading screens. I really like this one with the pandas and buildings and so on. It looks really nice. Here again, another example of the main building chained below. Here we have the 3 other buildings, and here we have a lot more red pandas, which is really nice, really like that. So yeah, the 2 standalone buildings and the limited building right here. Now we also have information screens, and as far as I know, these are completely the same when it comes to these images here, which means that there will most likely not be any changes to the mechanics of the event, which personally I don't mind. I like the mechanics of the event, so yeah, I'm fine with that. And yeah, we do have some experience now, so should hopefully make it a fun event. And finally, we have some assets for the shop, not really anything special to talk about. So that's the wildlife event, which will, I think it'll be the next one after the anniversary event, so probably talking in May sometime, I believe, which I think makes sense. It kind of has the same or similar style at least to the spring event, which now I think it's pretty much confirmed that will no longer appear. The spring event will probably be replaced, I guess, by the anniversary event and also slightly the wildlife event. The anniversary event in time and the wildlife event in style, I suppose. So yeah, that's the wildlife event. Let's move on to the pirate event. We also have some new stuff here. So again, I'll just go through all of it. Don't quite remember what I've talked about before. But one thing I know for sure is new is the buildings, the reward buildings. So here again we have a lot of different buildings, 6 I believe. But yeah, the main building here is the, well, we don't know the name actually. But this is the main building. It has 10 levels. Here it is at the final level. We can also see it in the info screen later on, in the loading screen later on. So yeah, 10 levels. And as we'll see later on, we have the golden kit again. We also have 5 other buildings. Don't really know too much about them. They might be set pieces. We don't really have any indication that they are set buildings, but we don't know. I don't think so personally. These are 1 by 1, these 3 pieces here. So these I imagine will function similar to the trees in the St. Patrick's Day event. So possibly as a reward from the main building, as fragments perhaps, who knows. This I don't really know. Looks like a decoration to me. Reminds me of the rock faces. I forget what they're called. I just call them rock faces. And then we have this building, which to me reminds me a bit of the Sleigh Builder, for example, in style. The Insect Hotel, I believe. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is a production building, similar to those that might produce some forge points, perhaps some goods, depending on the option you choose. It is 2x3, so yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this is a production building, but we don't know. And, well, Governor's Villa level 10, and judging by the look of it, most likely a golden level. So yeah, it seems like not only will they introduce golden kits for all upcoming buildings, they seem to also be introducing them for older buildings to, I'm guessing, bring them up to date with the latest buildings, which it's nice. It only depends on how they go about this. If they limit it to premium only, for example, I would be all against that. So I really hope that these kits, however they introduce them, will be available for free. Because otherwise, well, it would be a shame if they don't. The selection kits for this event, they are all blurred as of yet. They are placeholders. They are the same as the wildlife ones, I believe. You can see in the style here, they definitely look the same. So we have upgrade kit, and we have the golden kit for the main building, selection kit for the main building. We have a selection kit for building 4, 5, and 6, which are these three. So again, might be similar to the tree buildings. And we have the epic kit, which should include all the previous buildings, and hopefully golden upgrade for this, if that's a thing. Hopefully that is included here. But yeah, so that's the reward from the pirate or / summer event. I think it is probably going to be called the summer event and not pirate event. And something Beelzebub mentioned, that they probably just renamed it pirate in the code to avoid confusion about the asset names and so on. So the event itself will probably still be the summer event, but it does look like it will have new mechanics, and unfortunately it seems like it will be using the winter event mechanics. We have the shuffle, we have the show 2, and if we go down a little bit, and we had this for a while now, but in the wallpaper for the minigame, we have this information here. So 10 doubloons for opening one tile, most likely, will give you 1 oyster, which will provide you 1 to 3 progress for the grand prize. That's exactly the same mechanic as we had in the winter event. We also, again, we have double, we have show, the show 2 option, and yeah, those two combined, also with some other assets that look similar to the winter event, it might suggest that the event will be using the winter event mechanics instead of the old summer event mechanics, the wheel, or something new, which I don't like. I am not a big fan of the wheel mechanic, but I dislike the winter event mechanics even more, I think. They're close at least. So yeah, I'm really not happy with this, if it is indeed what they are doing. I hope this is wrong. I hope they're just reusing the asset for a new minigame. But right now, at least, it does seem like they are using the winter event mechanics. Anyways, we have an info screen here, the currency, the balloons. Don't quite know if these are supposed to be the balloons or something else. The calendar. Here we have the loading screen. You can see the main building here. I had a look and I don't really see any of the other buildings in this. I think that's kind of a missed opportunity. This might be a skull, but I don't think so. Anyways, here we have the main building as well. We have some portraits here, which are all right. In general, I'm not really a big fan of the avatar or portrait art style in general in the game, so I'll probably never be that big of a fan of any new avatar, but it is what it is. So yeah, now the minigame mechanics. We have these pieces. They have gotten an upgraded look, asset look lately. The rewards has also been, or the reward chest from completing the calendar, that has gotten an updated look. The calendar has also gotten updated looks. The background is updated. Highlighting of pieces and so on has been updated. The keys have been updated in the look here. They were different earlier on, a little bit simpler, or different really. So yeah, a lot of updated assets there. Nothing really new. We did have all of these in the past, but again, updated assets. And here, the piggy bank, which is another mechanic that was first introduced in the winter event, but we did have this last summer event as well. So yeah, but yeah, the piggy bank, which will be when you get a daily special probably in the minigame. You also get a reward here, but to claim that reward you have to spend diamonds. So probably not going to be worth it. Yeah, we don't really have too much new here, just some slightly updated versions of it, but yeah, nothing really new. And nothing really new here either. The progress has gotten a slight update. I don't remember what it was before, but it definitely wasn't a sailboat. The chest here has been updated slightly and so on, but yeah, not really too much new, except for a lot of updated assets. And of course also the buildings, which are definitely new this time around. So still a lot of things to look forward to and new things to learn. So far, I am a little bit nervous, I suppose, on what the mechanics will be, and hopefully they are not the winter mechanics. Alright, let's end this video by talking about the university. What on earth is that? Well, I don't know. We only got the first images for that on Friday, so it definitely hasn't been long. But we have a new saving star / university. And, well, we don't really know a lot about it, but I think the current speculation is that this might be another off-grid building, similar to the Thalia Castle system, for example, where I think the current thinking is that it might be some sort of resource sink in the game, so that you can spend your resources in this to get some sort of rewards. Another speculation is that it might be the updated guild perks, that it might be related to that. Again, don't really know. That was kind of a resource sink when it was introduced, but yeah, the state they introduced it in wasn't really that great. So yeah, we have this background here, which will be when you open the university. This will probably be some background, and then down here you will probably do whatever you do. We do have some research assets, or called research, but exactly what that means we don't know. I don't think it'll be, perhaps it will, perhaps another tech tree, but that doesn't really make sense, I think. So probably not going to be too, I don't know, involved in the city. I don't know, we'll see. We have some progress bars, some check marks, and so on. Reward background, reward slot. Now we do have, where is it? Premium panel. So whatever it is, we know that there will be a premium part of it, either diamonds or real money. We don't really know, but if current trends continue, possibly some sort of real money feature. But yeah, I don't really have a lot to say because I don't know what this will be. My bet right now is that it is some sort of off-grid building mechanic that is probably designed to be a resource sink, so that you can use some of all of the resources you have compiled that you don't really need, and hopefully get something interesting in return. But that might not be it. There might be something different. Who knows? It'll definitely be interesting to see in the future what this will bring. All right, so I think that is all for this video. Almost been going on for 40 minutes now, but yeah, we do have some interesting stuff in this recap, so definitely worth the time. All right, before I end this video, let me thank my Patreons for their support. I would like to thank Homestar, Lorden, Roganobin, Kim Cayley, Rolf the 8th, PQ the Goat, Dan Suminad, Chanti, Merrick B, Hugo Khan von Count, Drew Generous, Susan Weiss, Rocco, Merton Emrys, Spike from No Remorse, Travis the Avenger, Henrik de Clairberg, Mattia, Obshe the Obsessed, Raf, Odarel, Mike, Wolfboy, Atomic, Ruth, Flavius Belisarius, Karen, and Dennis. Thanks a lot for your support. Thanks for watching, and I will see you probably in a week. But yeah, take care.